Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're talking about rotation number 1 of the Incarnon Genesis adapters. All of these Incarnon adapters are on a 6-week rotation, which means if you didn't have time the first time around to actually farm these weapons, or perhaps you chose something else, this is your chance to get 2 additional Incarnon adapters. Your selection is actually quite interesting. You got the Braton, the Lato, the Skana, the Paris, and the Kunai. Let's begin with the Kunai. In its Incarnon form, this one, it's still a single target projectile based weapon, but this one has automatic aiming. It locks onto the head of a target and gets you that all important headshot. And considering the high critical chance this one has in its Incarnon form, it's definitely gonna be a pretty fun experience. Keep in mind that the best version of the Kunai is the Kunai. That's it. That's all we got. We got the MK1 Kunai and the Kunai. Obviously, in terms of power, this is still going to be a single target weapon, but I'm still curious enough to bring you a full and detailed build guide on it. As for the Scana, the best version of the Scana technically would be the Scana Prime, but unless you're a founder, we don't got no Scana Prime, so you're gonna have to go for the Prisma Scana that Battle sells. Keep in mind that the weapon can be bought on the trade chat as long as it hasn't been leveled. And you know what? I haven't exactly seen raving reviews saying that the Incarnon Scana is the best thing ever. It seems to be okay, but nothing overly fantastic. Next up, we're gonna be talking about the Lato, and the primary gimmick of the Lato is that damage link that we saw on the Incarnon Bronco. It's a hit scan attack, automatically linking to additional targets in hit scan fashion, and that is something to behold. However, I wouldn't go ahead and call it an AoE weapon per se. I would call it a multi-target weapon. I'm gonna bring you a full and detailed build guide on that one, but you gotta bear in mind, just like with the Scana, the best version of the Lato is the Lato Prime, and we don't have no Lato Prime unless of course you're a founder. The next best thing is gonna be the Lato Vandal. In order to get the Lato Vandal, you have two options. You gotta go and farm ESO, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and pray to God that the parts actually drop. And while you're at it, might as well farm the Braton Vandal as well. And the other option, as before, you can go onto the trade chat and buy yourself a set. Obviously, people that actually have the set will be charging a bit more. That Incarnon Rotation 1 is up. Next up, we're going to be talking about the Braton, and this is going to be my priority number 1, my recommendation number 1, the Braton Incarnon. Incarnon Braton Prime is an absolute beast mode of weapon. It's a hit scan explosion attack, and you gotta get it. That is your priority numero uno. Is the most powerful weapon out of this entire lineup. Though there is one specific talent on the Incarnon form that works a bit better than it should. Forget about that one for the time being. Simply play and enjoy the weapon. If you want to see a full and detailed build guide, even against level cap enemies, look at the cards right now for the Incarnon Braton Prime. Yes, go for the Prime. Go for the Prime if you ever want to see it in the cave, essentially. Yes, so Incarnon the Prime. In actual gameplay, my friends, this one feels like... Have you ever played Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine? This feels like a Warhammer 40,000 Boltor. It's heavier, it's meaner, it's tougher, and it deals a whole lot more damage. Oh, and the critical chance of critical damage is a lot higher as well. So this one just went full on nuclear. There has never been a more powerful Braton. I want you to see what the weapon is capable of, how well it handles, how easily it can handle level cap in the brand new game mode. I mean, it's not even funny. Regardless of the enemy, you're essentially gonna chomp through them like a hot knife through butter. Eximus, non-Eximus, overguard, not overguard, it doesn't even matter. Void Angel, not Void Angel, Frax, Max, Schmax, doesn't matter. The Incarnon Braton cuts through it like a hot knife through butter. Look at that. Last up is gonna be the Paris. Here's the thing, we're coming off the Dread. Dread was in week 6, this one, the Paris, is in week 1. They're essentially close together, and the functionality of the two weapons is basically identical. You're still firing the exact same projectile, and when it comes to performance, they're neck and neck, but I'm gonna give the edge over to the Incarnon Paris Prime. If you enjoy that kind of gameplay style, that fat projectile, and that easy mode getting headshot, because again, fat projectile, especially with longbow sharp shot, oh my god, the damage numbers are absolutely insane. Definitely go for this one. It's a true blue area of effect weapon. Even though you see the game treats its projectile as a, well, fat projectile, it doesn't see it as radial damage, as explosive damage, so you still get the benefit from galvanized aptitude. Again, full and detailed build guide on the Incarnon Paris right now in the cards. Enjoy. It's an Incarnon form. The projectile has infinite body punch through, meaning it's gonna be going through every body that you manage to hit. But unfortunately, upon contact with a surface, it will trigger this explosion-like effect. Now, this is just a visual effect and it doesn't actually deal any damage to your targets. The projectile itself is very similar to the Fluctus if you ever played with something like that. It's thin, but it's awfully wide, so you can hit multiple targets rather easily.
But doesn't mean it's not useful.
True.
No.
Into every game, some damage must fall.
Problem is I don't have my energy regen if I take them.
Say cheese.
I did not wanted to say cheese to that guy.
The wrong cheese.
You already got guides on the more important weapons, the Braton and the Paris, and I'm gonna bring you guides on the Kunai and the Lato as well. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite channel, subscribe only if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.